Right around 7 a.m. It's Sunday morning on 98.5 KLUC Las Vegas. Good morning. I'm John Mogan. This is our weekly community access program. I'm sure if you're up on a Sunday morning at this time, I'm sure at some point you've heard us on here talking about different topics. This morning, I have Lisa. What's your last name?
It's Habighorst.
Okay, I was
Quite a mouthful.
Yeah, I was looking at it on the email and I was like, wait a minute. I'll probably steer clear of that. From the Spread the Word of Nevada.
Spread the Word Nevada.
And at the beginning of this, I really want to hit this website a million times. Spreadthewordnevada.org. www.spreadthewordnevada.org. And we're going to talk about exactly what Spread the Word Nevada is. You know what? Real quickly. Well, you know what? Let's talk first. Give me the basic, just a real basic overview of what Spread the Word Nevada is.
Well, Spread the Word Nevada is a nonprofit locally grassroots program that started 8 years ago, and our mission, our goal, is to eradicate illiteracy for at-risk children in our community in Southern Nevada.
Okay, so can we kind of circle around, because I know you said you're the head honcho at Spread the Word Nevada, right? Is that?
Yes, I'm the executive director.
Well, I would say head honcho. That's head honcho worthy.
I've got a board over me, but yeah.
Okay, well, you're one of the head honchos.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, where did you come? Let's kind of talk about your background and how you got involved and how
Sure.
Spread the Word Nevada got started, all that.
Okay. Actually, I'm a former teacher with the Clark County School District. I taught math for eight years in middle school level. But I had a girlfriend, Lori Hardig, who really was the visionary and the founder of this program. She was an at-risk librarian, or at an at-risk school librarian for a number of years. And when she retired, she wanted to keep her hands in giving books to kids. And when she was actually working as a librarian, she would see that some of the kids who came in, especially during book fair time, when all our kids want us to buy books for them and stuff, there were children in her school that couldn't afford books. And so she would clean off the library shelves and have them over on the side. And so the kids who didn't have the money to buy a book, she would say, why don't you go over to the shelf and pick a book out from there? And immediately she saw their stature grow bigger, and they have a book to take home now too, not just the other kids in the school that could afford it, but they could bring one. And so that kind of planted the seed. And when she had to retire from the school district, she wanted to keep her hand in it and heard about this program out in Massachusetts called Spread the Word, where they would line kids up in the lunchroom and hand them out 5 books in a bag and say, here, happy reading, go take these books home, these are yours. So she thought that was a great idea, but we wanted to make it Nevada style. We wanted to do it our way. And so we got together with Library Services at the school district, and we decided to start this program where we would adopt at-risk schools throughout the valley. And,
if you don't mind me pausing real quick,
Sure.
For somebody who doesn't know, what exactly is an at-risk school?
Well, at-risk school has a couple different definitions. Our definition of that is we go into schools that are 80% or higher free or reduced lunch. So every 8 out of 10 kids, at least in that school, are getting free and reduced lunch because their families can't afford to pay for lunch. And we all know the lunches, as a mom myself, they're $1.40. So these are families that can't even afford $1.40 for their kids to eat lunch. And so, and below. So that's our definition.
Okay.
And that's the schools we target, 80% or higher.
Okay. And then back where you were, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
I took
okay.
you way off track.
I should have explained that. So we do, we target schools that need us, and they are all these at-risk schools. We go in and we adopt them. We do pre-K through 5th grade. Every child in the school comes to a big assembly. We kick off, we talk about the magic of reading and how reading can open doors and opportunities that they might not get. Most of these kids that we're serving don't get out of their neighborhoods much, and what they are seeing in their neighborhoods is not storybook. And so that's why we're there. Take them out through the bindings of a book, see that there's another world out there and help their education, and so that they'll have an equal opportunity. So we go ahead and we do this big kickoff. They get 5 books of their own. Our big thing is they need to choose their own books. We don't just hand them books that they could care less about. These are books that they want to read, that they're high interest reads. Some of them aren't very great readers, but because they're high interest read books, they'll want to read them. The Captain Underpants, the Judy B. Jones, those parents out there know those are really popular books with kids now, and that's the kind of books we give out. They get a canvas bag to carry them in because most of these kids are very transient and move from hotel to hotel and so forth and don't have a safe keeping place. So we call it their little portable library bag. And that's what we do. And then once we kick off the school, we go back every month and add another book, and they get to choose another book to their collection. So if those children remain at that school, by the end of the year, they'll have 13 to 15 books of their own from us. And then if they stay there all through their school years, they could end up leaving with about 80 books of their own home library, which is amazing. What we found is that not only does the children use them, but they bring them back to their families. And that brings us to our next program. We had families that never had books in the homes before, and now they have books, but are we sure they know what to do with them? Those of us who've been raised with books in our homes, it's nothing to sit down with your child and read every night. We know how important that is to read bedtime stories and to ask questions and to lead them as they read through the book and what's going to happen next and those kind of techniques. Well, these are families who have not had books in their homes or did not grow up or can't read very well with already. And so what could we do to help them?
Let me, I'm interrupting again. Let me ask you a question from a parent. I know you're a parent. I'm not a parent, but from maybe a young parent's perspective, because we have a lot of younger listeners. My best friend and his wife just found out that they're having a kid.
That's great.
This is really exciting. But from a parent's perspective, when it comes to like bedtime stories, this just popped in my head when you were talking about it. But when it comes to bedtime stories, do you read to the kids, or is there a certain point when you have them read it to you?
Well, you'll find that as you read their favorite ones, and you'll get so sick of some stories because your kids will want to read them night after night after night, and you'll have memorized it, but they're memorizing too, and that's where they're learning words. They're also learning how patterns of words come together for sentences, and so it's kind of gets to the point where eventually they'll be able to read you. Even if they can't read yet, they'll be able to read certain books because they've heard it so many times over and over again, and that builds the excitement. So as soon as they can start repeating the words with you, or maybe it's a book that has the same phrase on each page, and ends it, let them read that to you, and that starts the whole process.
It's kind of short. I don't specifically remember learning to read, and we were talking about this off the air. I was kind of fortunate enough to go to private school, and I learned how to read at a young age, and you said you did the same.
Yes.
But to me, it's kind of mind-boggling, the idea of learning how. I've got a piece of paper right here. I'm trying to help people picture this. I've got a piece of paper here, and it's got all these letters and words on it. It's really weird to think that somehow you go from, this is just something on a paper, to you can put all these words together. Public libraries are essential centers of learning. I mean, where did you learn this? You know what I mean?
Right. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I took you way off track.
That's okay.
And I hardly remember where, I tend to do that. I hardly remember where you were because I started.
Well, I was telling you about our second program.
Oh, right.
That we started in 2004, and that's a family literacy program. So not only do we serve the kids in these schools, and we're at 17 schools right now. We'll take on our 18th school next month, which is just very exciting. We serve about 15,000 kids in the Valley every month and give out about 20,000 books through this program. But our second program, we decided to shoot for family literacy, help these families know what to do. So we have breakfast programs at all our schools in the morning before school starts. The children have to bring a parent, and they'll come in with their parents. They get a small continental type breakfast. They choose another book to read. They get a take-home activity. We read a story. We go through some ideas of how to read at home and give them some pointers on what to do, and then we release them. And when we started this, we thought, wow, if we get 25 parents at one of these, it'll be great. We have schools that have 350 to 400 people coming at 7 o'clock in the morning to hear our stories, to get books for their children, to get breakfast, and to learn how to help their family's future. It's amazing. There's so much need out there, but they're also willing to come and learn and do their part. And that's the kind of people that are here. And so we really love that program. And then our third program that just started last year was, okay, so we're doing the books in the homes, we're helping the families, but what about those kids who are still falling through the cracks for whatever reason? Their families don't care, or they're just still behind. And we've started a reading mentor program called Books and Buddies. And we're looking for volunteers in the community that will come in. We'll pair you up with a child for 12 weeks. 1 hour a week is your commitment. You go to one of our schools and you sit down and you read with that child and you mentor that child for an hour a week. It is amazing. It's life-changing for the children. It's life-changing for the mentors. We've seen the kids raise a whole reading level after 12 weeks of reading one-on-one. We've seen
by reading level? Is that like grade level?
Grade level.
Reading.
They might be it might be a second grader who's reading at a first grade level, and by the end of the 12 weeks, they're up to second grade reading level already. Just because they have somebody focusing on them for an hour, somebody who cares, somebody who's going to hold